The enigmatic arrival. The massive alien vessel appeared without warning in Earth's orbit, its sleek obsidian hull seeming to absorb all light around it. For 3 days, it hovered silently above the planet, ignoring all attempts at communication and sending waves of panic through the global population. Then, on the 4th day, a single escape pod jettisoned from the ship and plummeted towards the surface, crash-landing in a remote forest outside of Seattle. As military and scientific teams raced to reach the site, the mothership vanished as suddenly as it had appeared, leaving behind only questions and one very unexpected visitor. Dr. Samantha Chen pushed her way through the dense undergrowth, her heart pounding with a mix of fear and excitement. As the lead xenobiologist for the U.S. government's newly formed Extraterrestrial Contact Division, she had dreamed of this moment for years. But now that it was actually happening, a small part of her wished she was back in her lab, safely examining cell cultures instead of trekking through the wilderness to make first contact with an unknown alien life form. The crash site came into view ahead, a deep furrow carved into the earth, ending in a clearing where the escape pod lay half buried in the soft soil. Twisted metal glowed faintly in the morning light, giving off wisps of acrid smoke. Samantha's team spread out, scanning the area with an array of sophisticated sensors. No signs of radiation or biological contamination, called out Dr. Potol, studying the readout on his handheld device. But I'm picking up some unusual energy signatures, nothing like we've ever seen before. Samantha nodded, her eyes fixed on the pod. Its seamless surface bore no signs of doors or hatches. How was the occupant supposed to get out? As if in answer to her unspoken question, a seam suddenly appeared in the metallic skin, widening into an oval opening. The assembled humans collectively held their breath as a figure emerged, unfolding itself from the cramped confines of the pod. She, was undeniably alien, yet also strikingly humanoid. Standing nearly 7 feet tall, the being had pale lavender skin that seemed to shimmer with an inner light. Delicate, feather-like appendages framed an elegant face dominated by large, luminous eyes. Those eyes fixed on Samantha, and she felt a jolt like an electric current pass through her body. In that moment, she knew with absolute certainty that this alien was female, and that she was utterly terrified. The alien took a hesitant step forward, then another. The soldiers flanking Samantha raised their weapons, but she waved them down. "Stand down," she ordered. "She's not a threat." How she knew this, Samantha couldn't say, but the fear radiating from the alien was palpable. Slowly, Samantha stepped forward to meet the newcomer. "I'm Dr. Samantha Chen," she said softly, placing a hand on her chest. "Can you understand me?" The alien cocked her head to the side, studying Samantha intently. Then, to everyone's shock, she spoke in flawless English. "I am Zaraki. I seek asylum on your world." A murmur ran through the assembled humans. Samantha's mind raced. How was this alien speaking their language? Some kind of advanced translation technology? Telepathy. "Asylum," Samantha repeated. "From what?" Zaraki's luminous eyes darted nervously to the sky. "From those who would destroy me, and your entire planet along with me. Please, we don't have much time. I must speak with your leaders immediately." Before Samantha could respond, one of the soldiers stepped forward, his rifle still half raised. "How do we know this isn't some kind of trick?" he demanded. "For all we know, you could be an advanced scout for an invasion force." Zaraki flinched at the man's hostile tone, taking a step back. Samantha saw genuine fear flash across the alien's delicate features. "Stand down, Sergeant," she snapped. "Can't you see she's terrified?" "With all due respect, ma'am, that could just be an act," the soldier replied, not taking his eyes off Zaraki. "We need to secure the alien and bring it in for questioning." Samantha opened her mouth to argue, but Zaraki spoke first. "You're right to be cautious," she said softly. "I would be too, in your position. But please believe me when I say I mean you no harm. I came here seeking help, and to offer a warning." She raised her hands slowly, showing she carried no weapons. I will submit to whatever tests or examinations you deem necessary to prove I'm not a threat. But please, time is of the essence. Lives are at stake, not just mine, but potentially those of everyone on your world. Samantha studied the alien, noting the way Zaraki's feather-like appendages trembled slightly. Everything about her body language screamed fear and submission. If this was an act, it was an incredibly convincing one. Making a snap decision, Samantha turned to address her team. We'll bring her to the secure facility for examination and debriefing, but she'll be treated as an asylum seeker, not a prisoner. Is that clear? There were some grumbles of dissent, but no one openly challenged her authority. As they prepared to move out, Samantha approached Zaraki. I'm sorry about all this, she said quietly. But you have to understand, your arrival has us all on edge. We've never encountered an alien species before. Zaraki nodded, her luminous eyes full of understanding. I know, and I'm truly sorry to bring such turmoil to your world, but I had nowhere else to go. As they made their way out of the forest to the waiting vehicles, Zaraki leaned close to Samantha. Thank you, she whispered, for believing me, for showing kindness to a stranger. Samantha felt a lump form in her throat. You're welcome, she replied. I just hope I'm not making a terrible mistake. Zaraki's lips curved in a small, sad smile. As do I, Dr. Chen. As do I. The drive to the secure facility was tense and silent. Samantha couldn't help stealing glances at that alien passenger, who sat rigidly in her seat, staring out the window with wide eyes. What horrors had she fled from, and what kind of danger had followed her to Earth? As they pulled up to the nondescript government building that housed some of the most advanced scientific equipment on the planet, Samantha felt a mix of excitement and trepidation. Whatever happened next would change the course of human history forever. Inside, a team of doctors and scientists were waiting to examine Zaraki. To her credit, the alien submitted to their tests without complaint, though Samantha could see the fear and discomfort in her eyes. Blood samples were taken, brain scans performed, and a battery of other examinations carried out. Hours later, Samantha stood before a hastily assembled panel of government officials and military brass, presenting the preliminary findings. As near as we can tell, Zaraki is a carbon-based life form with a biology not entirely dissimilar to our own, she explained. Her DNA, if you can call it that, is far more complex than anything we've seen before, and her cellular structure, well, it's simply astounding. Her cells appear to be capable of manipulating energy in ways we can barely comprehend. An older man with the insignia of an Air Force general leaned forward. Are you saying she has some kind of special powers? Samantha hesitated. I'm not sure I'd use that term, sir. But she does seem to possess abilities far beyond human norm. We've detected intense electromagnetic fields emanating from her body, and she appears to be able to manipulate these fields at will. So she's dangerous, the general concluded. Potentially, Samantha admitted, but she's shown no signs of aggression. In fact, all of our tests indicate she was telling the truth about seeking asylum. Her body shows signs of recent trauma and extreme stress. A woman in a crisp suit, some kind of intelligence official, Samantha guessed, spoke up. What about her ship? The one that dropped her off and then vanished. We're still analyzing the sensor data, Samantha replied, but preliminary findings suggest it used some kind of advanced cloaking technology to mask its approach and departure. We simply don't have anything capable of tracking it. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Finally, a man Samantha recognized as the president's national security advisor cleared his throat. Dr. Chen, you spent the most time with the alien. What's your assessment? Can we trust her? Samantha took a deep breath. Sir, I believe we can. Everything about Zaraki's behavior indicates she is genuinely afraid and in need of help. But more than that, I can't explain it, but I feel a connection to her. Like I can sense her emotions somehow, and all I sense is fear, desperation, and a deep sadness. The NSA advisor nodded slowly. Very well. We'll continue to treat her as an asylum seeker for now. But I want round-the-clock surveillance and security. And Dr. Chen, I want you to stay close to her. Try to get more information about who or what she's running from." As the meeting adjourned, Samantha felt a weight settle onto her shoulders, the fate of not just Zaraki, but potentially the entire planet now rested in her hands. She only hoped she was up to the task. She found Zaraki in a comfortable but secure room, staring out the window at the star-filled sky. The alien turned as Samantha entered, a look of relief washing over her features. "Dr. Chen," she said softly, "I was beginning to worry they had decided to dissect me after all." Samantha winced at the dark humor. "No dissections, I promise. How are you feeling?" Zaraki's feather-like appendages rippled in what Samantha was beginning to recognize as a shrug. "Physically, I am well, but my mind, my heart, they are heavy with fear and sorrow." Samantha sat down across from the alien, her expression gentle. "Zaraki, I know this is difficult, but we need to know more about why you came here. What are you running from? Who's after you?" Zaraki was silent for a long moment, her gaze returning to the stars. When she spoke, her voice was barely above a whisper. "They call themselves the Consortium, a group of advanced species who believe they have the right to control the destiny of the galaxy. They seek out worlds with potential and harvest them, strip them of resources, of knowledge, of anything useful." A chill ran down Samantha's spine. "And they're coming here, to Earth." Zaraki nodded slowly. "Yes, but not just for your planet. They're coming for me." She turned to face Samantha, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears. "You see, Dr. Chen, I am the last of my kind, the sole survivor of a world the Consortium destroyed, and I carry within me the key to a power they desperately want to control." Samantha leaned forward, her heart pounding. "What kind of power?" Zaraki held out her hand, palm up. A small sphere of swirling energy appeared, hovering inches above her skin. It pulsed with colors Samantha had never seen before, seeming to bend the very fabric of reality around it. "The power," Zaraki said softly, "to reshape the universe itself." As Samantha stared in awe at the pulsing energy in Zaraki's hand, 1,000 questions raced through her mind. But before she could voice any of them, an alarm began blaring throughout the facility. Red emergency lights bathed the room in an ominous glow. Zaraki's eyes widened in terror. "They're here," she whispered. "The Consortium has found me." An unlikely alliance. The facility shook as if struck by an earthquake, dust raining down from the ceiling. Samantha grabbed Zaraki's arm, her instincts kicking in. "We need to move now." As they raced through the corridors, chaos erupted around them. Armed guards rushed past, shouting orders and readying weapons. Through the windows, Samantha caught glimpses of impossibly large ships descending from the night sky, their hulls gleaming with an otherworldly metal. "The Void Cutters," Zaraki gasped, her voice thick with dread. "The Consortium's elite hunters. We cannot hope to fight them." Samantha's mind raced. They couldn't stay here. But where could they go that would be safe from an advanced alien invasion force? As if in answer to her unspoken question, a familiar voice called out from an intersecting hallway. "Dr. Chen, over here." It was Dr. Marcus Rees, her colleague and friend from the Xenobiology department. He stood next to an open doorway, gesturing frantically. "I've got transport waiting," Marcus shouted over the din of alarms and explosions. "But we need to hurry." Samantha didn't hesitate, pulling Zaraki along as they sprinted towards Marcus. As they reached him, the far wall of the corridor exploded inward in a shower of debris and acrid smoke. Through the haze, Samantha caught a glimpse of towering armored figures, their helmets adorned with pulsing lights and writhing tendrils. "Go, go, go," Marcus yelled, shoving them through the doorway. They emerged into an underground parking garage where a sleek, unmarked van idled, its engine rumbling. As they piled into the vehicle, Marcus slammed his palm on a console, and the van surged forward, tires squealing. They burst out of the garage just as another explosion rocked the facility behind them. "What's going on?" Samantha demanded as Marcus weaved through traffic at breakneck speed. "How did you know?" No time to explain. Marcus cut her off, his eyes flicking to the rearview mirror. "We've got company." Samantha twisted in her seat to look behind them. Her blood ran cold at the sight of 3 hovering vehicles in pursuit, each bristling with alien weaponry. Beams of searing energy lanced out, carving furrows in the pavement around them. "Hold on," Marcus shouted, yanking the wheel hard. The van careened onto an off-ramp, nearly going airborne as it hit the curve. Samantha clutched Zaraki protectively as they were thrown about the cabin. "Where are we going?" Samantha yelled over the screech of tires and the whine of energy weapons. "Somewhere they'll never think to look for us," Marcus replied grimly. He tapped a complex sequence into the van's navigation system, and suddenly the vehicle shimmered, becoming translucent. "Cloaking technology," Samantha gasped. "How did you?" "Like I said, no time to explain," Marcus cut her off again. "But let's just say I've been preparing for this day for a long time." As their pursuers fell behind, confused by the van's sudden disappearance, Marcus guided them out of the city and into the countryside. Hours passed in tense silence, broken only by the occasional update from Marcus on their trajectory and the movements of their alien hunters. Finally, as dawn broke over the horizon, they pulled up to a nondescript farmhouse nestled in a valley surrounded by towering redwoods. Marcus killed the engine and turned to face them, his expression grave. "Welcome to Haven," he said, "possibly the last safe place on Earth." As they exited the van, Samantha's scientific curiosity momentarily overrode her fear and exhaustion. The farmhouse and surrounding buildings seemed ordinary enough, but there was a faint shimmer in the air, like heat waves rising from hot pavement. "Another cloaking field?" she asked. Marcus nodded. "Among other defenses. This place is as secure as I could make it with the technology available to us, which, as you've probably guessed, is considerably more advanced than what the general public knows about." Zaraki, who had been unnaturally quiet during their flight, suddenly gasped. Her luminous eyes widened as she stared at the farmhouse. This is impossible," she whispered. Before Samantha could ask what she meant, the front door of the house opened. A figure stepped out, backlit by the rising sun. As Samantha's eyes adjusted, she felt her jaw drop in shock. The being before them was undeniably alien, with iridescent scales covering a lithe, serpentine body. Yet there was an unmistakable intelligence in its multifaceted eyes, and when it spoke, its voice was rich and melodious. "Greetings, travelers," the alien said. "I am Selthor, last ambassador of the Arcturian Collective. And if I'm not mistaken," it continued, its gaze fixing on Zaraki, "you are Zaraki, the star child we have long awaited." Samantha's head spun. She turned to Marcus, desperate for answers. "What is going on? How long have you been hiding an alien on Earth?" Marcus sighed, running a hand through his thinning hair. "It's a long story, Sam. One that goes back further than you can imagine. But the short version is this. Humanity isn't alone in the fight against the Consortium. We have allies, hidden allies, scattered across the galaxy. Selthor here is one of them." Zaraki stepped forward, her feather-like appendages quivering with emotion. "The Arcturians," she breathed. "I thought your people were destroyed centuries ago." Selthor inclined its head. "Nearly so, but a few of us survived, scattered to the winds. We have been working in secret, preparing for the day when the Star Child would emerge and the final battle against the Consortium would begin." Samantha felt like she had stepped into a science fiction novel. Final battle, Star Child. What are you talking about? Selthor's multifaceted eyes seemed to twinkle with amusement. "All will be explained in due time, Dr. Chen. But first, we must ensure your safety and begin your training." "Training?" Samantha echoed, bewildered. Marcus placed a hand on her shoulder. "Sam, there's no easy way to say this, but you're not just a scientist anymore. You're the key to saving not just Earth, but the entire galaxy. Before Samantha could protest, Zaraki spoke up, her voice filled with a mixture of awe and trepidation. It's true. I sensed it from the moment we met. You carry within you a power that rivals my own, a power the consortium would do anything to possess. Samantha's mind reeled. This morning she had been a xenobiologist, excited about first contact. Now she was apparently some kind of chosen one in an intergalactic war. It was too much to process. I think, she said faintly, I need to sit down. Seltho gestured towards the farmhouse. Of course, come inside, all of you. We have much to discuss, and time grows short. The consortium will not stop searching, and we must be ready when they find us. As they followed the alien into the house, Samantha couldn't shake the feeling that her entire world had been turned upside down. Yet beneath the fear and confusion, a small spark of excitement ignited in her chest. She was about to embark on the adventure of a lifetime, one that would determine the fate of not just humanity, but countless species across the stars. Inside, the farmhouse's rustic exterior gave way to a high-tech command center that would have put NASA to shame. Holographic displays flickered to life, showing real-time data on consortium ship movements and Earth's meager defenses. We've been monitoring the situation since the Void Cutters arrived, Marcus explained, his fingers dancing over a control panel. So far, they seem focused on the area around the facility where we were holding Zaraki, but it won't take them long to expand their search. Seltho slithered to a central platform, its scales shimmering as it interfaced with the technology around it. We must act quickly. Zaraki, are you strong enough to begin the awakening process? The alien woman nodded, though Samantha noted she looked pale and drawn. I am ready. But, her luminous eyes fixed on Samantha, she is not. The power within her is still dormant. Wait, Samantha interjected, holding up her hands. Can someone please explain what's going on? What power? What awakening? Zelfor's multifaceted eyes blinked in a pattern Samantha interpreted as sympathy. Dr. Chen, what do you know of your own origins? Samantha frowned. My origins? I was born in San Francisco. My parents were both scientists. Yes, but before that, Zelfor pressed. What do you know of your true lineage? A chill ran down Samantha's spine. My true lineage. What are you talking about? Marcus stepped forward, his expression grave. Sam, there's no easy way to say this, but you're not entirely human. Your parents weren't your biological parents. They were part of a secret program, tasked with raising and protecting you until the time was right. Samantha felt like the floor had dropped out from under her. That's impossible. I would know if I wasn't. Human. Zaraki finished softly. She reached out, taking Samantha's hand in her own. You are human in all the ways that truly matter. But you also carry within you the legacy of an ancient and powerful race. A race that the consortium feared above all others. Images flashed through Samantha's mind, odd childhood memories she had long dismissed. The way she had always felt different, set apart. The strange dreams of stars and distant worlds. The intuitive understanding of complex scientific concepts that had baffled her teachers. What am I? She whispered. Zelfor's voice was solemn. You are the last descendant of the Forerunners, Dr. Chen. The species that seeded life throughout the galaxy eons ago. The ones who created the Star Child, Zaraki, as a failsafe against the rising threat of the consortium. Samantha's head spun. It was too much to take in, yet some deep part of her resonated with the truth of Zelfor's words. The power you carry, Zaraki explained, is the ability to unlock and channel the fundamental forces of the universe itself. Combined with my own abilities, we have the potential to defeat the consortium once and for all. But first, Marcus added, we need to awaken that power within you. And we need to do it fast, before the consortium realizes what you are and brings their full might down upon us. Samantha took a deep breath, steeling herself. Part of her wanted to run, to hide from this incredible responsibility that had been thrust upon her. But a larger part, the part that had always driven her to explore, to seek out new frontiers of knowledge, knew that this was her destiny. "Oh, right," she said, squaring her shoulders. "What do I need to do?" Zaraki smiled, a mix of relief and determination in her eyes. "We begin with meditation. We must teach you to sense the cosmic energy that flows through all things. Once you can feel it, you can learn to shape it." As Zaraki led Samantha to a quiet corner of the room to begin her training, Selfo turned to Marcus. "Prepare the defenses," the alien ordered. "The consortium will not give us much time. We must be ready for when they come." Marcus nodded grimly, his fingers flying over the control panels. Outside, hidden weapon systems hummed to life, and cloaking fields intensified. In the midst of this whirlwind of activity, Samantha closed her eyes and took a deep breath. As Zaraki's soothing voice guided her into a meditative state, she felt something stir deep within her. A power ancient and vast, waiting to be unleashed. The fate of the galaxy now rested on her shoulders, and Samantha Chen, once a simple xenobiologist, now the hope of countless civilizations, was determined not to let them down. Awakening the cosmic force. The air crackled with unseen energy as Samantha sat cross-legged on the floor, her eyes closed in deep concentration. Zaraki circled her, feather-like appendages swaying gently as she guided the human through the intricate process of awakening her latent powers. "Feel the pulse of the universe," Zaraki intoned, her melodic voice resonating on a frequency that seemed to bypass Samantha's ears and speak directly to her soul. "It flows through you, around you, connecting all things across the vastness of space and time." Samantha's brow furrowed as she strained to sense what Zaraki described. At first, there was nothing but the sound of her own heartbeat and the distant hum of Haven's defense systems. But then, gradually, she became aware of something else. A faint vibration, like the gentlest of breezes, caressing her skin and seeping into her very being. I think I feel something," Samantha whispered, afraid that speaking too loudly might break the tenuous connection. Zaraki's eyes lit up with excitement. "Yes, that's it. Now, reach out with your mind. Let the energy flow through you, become one with it." As Samantha focused on the sensation, it grew stronger. The vibration intensified, transforming into a symphony of cosmic harmonies. Colors she had no names but danced behind her closed eyelids, and for a moment, she felt as if she could sense the position of every atom in the universe. "Oh my God," she gasped, her eyes flying open. The world around her looked different now, overlaid with shimmering patterns of energy that pulsed and flowed like living things. Zaraki beamed, her own form glowing with an inner light that Samantha could now perceive. "You've taken your first step into a larger world, Samantha Chen. The power of the Forerunners flows through you." Across the room, Selfo and Marcus watched in awe as a soft aura began to emanate from Samantha's skin. The alien ambassador's multifaceted eyes gleamed with something akin to hope. "It's happening faster than we dared dream," Selfo murmured. "Perhaps we stand a chance after all." Marcus nodded, but his expression remained grim. "Let's hope it's fast enough. Our long-range sensors are picking up massive energy signatures approaching the solar system. The consortium is bringing in reinforcements." As if on cue, an alarm blared through Haven's command center. Red warning lights bathed the room in an ominous glow as holographic displays flickered to life, showing a terrifying sight. A vast armada of consortium ships had entered the solar system, their sleek, predatory forms eclipsing entire planets as they moved inexorably towards Earth. At their center was a vessel so massive it defied comprehension, the Worldrender, flagship of the consortium's supreme leader. "By the cosmic void," Zaraki breathed, her voice trembling. "They've brought the Archon himself." Samantha staggered to her feet, still reeling from the sensory overload of her awakening. "What does that mean? Who's the Archon?" Selthor slithered forward, its scales reflecting the crimson emergency lights. "The Archon is the most powerful being in the known universe, or so the consortium believes. He is said to possess abilities that rival those of the Forerunners themselves. Which means, Marcus added grimly, that he's the only one who might be able to stop you and Zaraki once your powers are fully awakened. Samantha's mind raced, trying to process the enormity of the situation. Just days ago, her biggest concern had been securing funding for her research. Now, she was apparently the linchpin in a cosmic battle for the fate of all sentient life. "What do we do?" she asked, hating how small and scared her voice sounded. Zaraki placed a comforting hand on Samantha's shoulder. "We continue your training. Every moment brings you closer to realizing your full potential, and when the time comes, we will face the Archon together." Tizelfo nodded in agreement. "Our defenses will buy us some time, but not much. The Consortium's technology far outstrips anything Earth possesses. Our only hope lies in awakening Samantha's powers fully and combining them with Zaraki's abilities." Marcus tapped furiously at a control panel, bringing up a holographic map of the solar system. "I'm coordinating with what's left of Earth's military and the handful of off-world allies we have. We'll throw everything we've got at them to slow their advance." As the others sprang into action, Samantha felt a wave of doubt wash over her. "I don't know if I can do this," she admitted quietly to Zaraki. "The fate of the entire galaxy, it's too much." Zaraki's luminous eyes met Samantha's, filled with understanding and compassion. "I know how you feel. I've carried this burden for centuries, always running, always afraid. But now, for the first time, I have hope. Because of you, Samantha." The alien woman took Samantha's hands in her own, and a spark of energy passed between them. "You are stronger than you know. The power of creation itself runs through your veins. Together, we can reshape the very fabric of reality. We can end the Consortium's reign of terror once and for all." Samantha took a deep breath, drawing strength from Zaraki's words and the warm energy flowing between them. She nodded, squaring her shoulders. "All right, let's do this. Teach me everything you know." As Zaraki resumed Samantha's training, guiding her deeper into the mysteries of cosmic manipulation, Haven became a hive of frantic activity. Marcus coordinated Earth's meager defenses, while Selfo reached out to a network of hidden allies scattered across the galaxy. Hours blended into days as Samantha pushed herself to the limits of her newfound abilities. She learned to bend light, to manipulate gravity, to fold space itself. With each passing moment, the power within her grew stronger, more controllable. But even as her skills increased, so too did the encroaching threat. The Consortium's armada drew ever closer, laying waste to the outer planets and their moons. Earth's governments, finally forced to acknowledge the reality of the alien invasion, vacillated between panic and desperate attempts at negotiation. Then, on the 7th day of Samantha's training, it happened. As she and Zaraki meditated together, their energies intertwining in a dance of cosmic forces, something clicked into place. Samantha's eyes snapped open, glowing with an inner light that rivaled the stars themselves. "I remember," she whispered, her voice resonating with newfound power. "I remember everything." Zaraki's eyes widened. "The ancestral memories of the Forerunners." Samantha nodded, a cascade of images and knowledge flooding her consciousness. "Yes, and I know what we have to do." She stood, her feet lifting slightly off the ground as cosmic energy swirled around her. The others gathered, staring in awe at the transformation. "The Archon's power comes from a corrupted version of Forerunner technology," Samantha explained, her voice carrying the weight of eons. "But together, Zaraki, and I can undo what the Consortium has twisted. We can reset the cosmic balance." Zolfor's multifaceted eyes gleamed with hope. "You believe you can defeat the Archon?" Samantha's expression was grim but determined. "I believe we have to try. If we don't, everything, every world, every species, every potential future, will fall to the Consortium's hunger for power and control." Marcus stepped forward, concern etched on his features. "Sam, are you sure about this?" "The risk is necessary," Samantha finished for him. She turned to Zaraki, extending her hand. "Are you ready?" Zaraki nodded, intertwining her fingers with Samantha's. As their energies merged, the air around them shimmered and warped, reality itself bending to their combined will. "We need to get to the Archon's ship," Samantha declared. "Everything hinges on confronting him directly." Selthor slithered to a control panel, its scales flashing with determination. "I can get you there." The Arcturians developed a method of short-range teleportation. It's risky, especially at these distances, but it's our best shot. As alarms blared and Haven's defenses engaged, signaling the consortium's final approach, Samantha and Zaraki stood at the center of a hastily prepared teleportation circle. Energy crackled around them, building to a fever pitch. Marcus met Samantha's eyes one last time. "Good luck," he said softly. "And Sam, come back to us." Samantha managed a small smile, even as the weight of the galaxy settled onto her shoulders. "I'll do my best. Thank you, Marcus, for everything." With a blinding flash and a sound like reality itself tearing, Samantha and Zaraki vanished. In that instant, as they hurtled across the void towards humanity's greatest threat, the final battle for the fate of the universe began. Confrontation with the Archon. The universe bent and twisted around Samantha and Zaraki as they hurtled through the fabric of space-time. For a moment that seemed to stretch into eternity, they existed everywhere and nowhere, their very atoms scattered across the cosmos. Then, with a rush of displaced air and a flash of blinding light, they materialized in the heart of the Worldrender, the Archon's massive flagship. The sudden transition left them momentarily disoriented, but they had no time to recover. Alarms blared throughout the ship, and the metallic floor beneath their feet vibrated with the thunderous footsteps of approaching consortium troops. Samantha's newfound cosmic awareness prickled with danger from all sides. "We need to move," Zaraki hissed, her feather-like appendages rippling with tension. "The Archon will be in the command center, at the very top of the ship." Samantha nodded, calling upon her recently awakened powers. With a gesture, she created a shimmering energy shield around them, just as the first wave of consortium soldiers rounded the corner, their biomechanical weapons primed and ready. "Up we go," Samantha said, her voice resonating with otherworldly power. She reached out with her mind, feeling the structure of the massive ship around them. With a thought, she tore a hole in the ceiling above, revealing level after level stretching towards the ship's pinnacle. Zaraki grasped Samantha's hand, and together they soared upwards, leaving the bewildered consortium troops far below. As they ascended, they caught glimpses of the ship's interior, vast chambers filled with pulsing alien technology, biological components meshed seamlessly with cold, unfeeling metal. "The Archon has perverted the Forerunner's gifts," Samantha murmured, her ancestral memories providing context for the horrors they witnessed. All of this was meant to nurture life, to help species grow and evolve. Instead, he's turned it into a weapon of domination. Zaraki's grip on Samantha's hand tightened. "Then we shall remind him of its true purpose." As they neared the top of the ship, resistance grew fiercer. Swarms of drone-like creatures attacked from all sides, while energy beams lanced through the air around them. Samantha and Zaraki moved in perfect synchronization, their powers complementing each other as they deflected attacks and cleared a path upward. Finally, they burst through the last barrier, emerging into a vast, domed chamber that seemed to exist partially outside of normal space-time. Stars wheeled overhead, and the curvature of Earth was visible far below. And there, seated upon a throne of writhing biomechanical tendrils, was the Archon. He was both beautiful and terrifying, a being of pure energy barely contained within a humanoid form. His eyes blazed with the light of dying stars, and the air around him crackled with barely restrained power. "Ah," the Archon's voice reverberated through the chamber, shaking Samantha to her very core. "The last Starchild and the hidden Forerunner descendant. How kind of you to deliver yourselves to me." Samantha stepped forward, her own power flaring to match the Archon's display. "We're not here to surrender," she declared, her voice carrying the weight of countless generations. "We're here to end your reign of terror." The Archon laughed, the sound like shattering galaxies. "Bold words from such young creatures. Do you truly think you can stand against me? I who have consumed the essence of 1,000 worlds. I who have bent the very laws of physics to my will." Zaraki moved to stand beside Samantha, her own energy intertwining with her companions. "You've forgotten the true purpose of your power, Archon. The Forerunners gifted it to nurture life, not to dominate it." "Nurture, protect," the Archon sneered, rising from his throne. "The universe is chaos, child. Only through control can there be order. Only through power can there be peace." "You're wrong," Samantha countered, memories of countless civilizations flowing through her mind. "Diversity is strength. Cooperation, not domination, is the path to true harmony." The Archon's eyes narrowed, the stars within them turning supernova bright. "Enough talk. If you will not join me, then you will be destroyed. And with your power added to my own, nothing in this universe will stand against me." With that, he unleashed a torrent of energy so intense it warped the very fabric of reality around them. Samantha threw up a hasty shield, but the force of the attack still sent her and Zaraki skidding backwards. "Now, Samantha," Zaraki shouted, "remember your training. Remember who you are." Samantha closed her eyes, reaching deep within herself. She felt the cosmic energy flowing through her veins, the legacy of the Forerunners singing in every cell. But more than that, she felt her connection to Earth, to humanity, to every living thing that was counting on her. Her eyes snapped open, blazing with inner light. "No more running," she declared. "No more fear. This ends now." With a cry that shook the foundations of the ship, Samantha unleashed her full power. Streams of pure cosmic energy erupted from her hands, colliding with the Archon's assault in a cataclysmic display that threatened to tear the ship apart. Zaraki added her own power to Samantha's, their energies weaving together in complex patterns that countered and redirected the Archon's attacks. The chamber became a maelstrom of forces beyond mortal comprehension, a battle waged on both the physical and metaphysical planes. As the conflict raged, Samantha began to understand the true nature of her power and the Archon's weakness. His strength came from domination, from bending the universe to his will. But her power, the true power of the Forerunners, came from harmony with the cosmic flow. "Zaraki," she called out, her voice carrying over the din of battle. "We need to synchronize completely. Let go of everything else and focus on the bond between us." Understanding dawned in Zaraki's luminous eyes. As one, they ceased their direct attacks on the Archon and instead turned their focus inward. Their energies merged not in conflict, but in perfect resonance. The Archon, sensing a shift in the battle, redoubled his assault. "Fools," he roared, "you cannot hope to match my power." But even as the words left his mouth, he felt something change. The very cosmic forces he had long manipulated began to slip from his grasp. Samantha and Zaraki rose into the air, their forms becoming indistinct as they merged into a being of pure energy. When they spoke, it was with one voice, a voice that carried the wisdom of eons and the promise of futures yet to come. "You've forgotten the most fundamental law of the universe, Archon," they intoned. "All things are connected. All things are one. In denying this truth, you've cut yourself off from the very source of your power." Tendrils of energy extended from their merged form, reaching out not to attack the Archon, but to embrace him. As they enveloped him, he felt something he hadn't experienced in millennia: compassion, understanding, the interconnectedness of all things. "No," he whispered, his voice losing its thunderous quality. "This cannot be." But it was. The corrupted Forerunner energy within him resonated with the pure cosmic force Samantha and Zaraki channeled. Memories long suppressed bubbled to the surface, memories of a time before his lust for power had consumed him, when he too had been a guardian of life rather than its would-be conqueror. Tears of starfire streamed down the Archon's face as the last of his defenses crumbled. I remember, he choked out. Oh, what have I done? Samantha and Zaraki's merged voice was gentle but firm. What's done is done. But now you have a choice. Rejoin the cosmic dance, or fade into oblivion. For a moment that stretched into eternity, the Archon wavered on the brink. Then, with a sound like a dying star's last gasp, he surrendered. His form dissolved, the corrupted energy dispersing and rejoining the pure cosmic flow. As the Archon faded away, his vast armada began to disintegrate. Across the solar system, consortium ships sparked and failed, their power source suddenly gone. On Earth, humanity watched in awe as the invading fleet crumbled into harmless debris. In the heart of the world render, Samantha and Zaraki slowly separated, their energies disentangling as they returned to their individual forms. They collapsed to the floor, exhausted but triumphant. Is it over? Samantha asked, her voice hoarse. Zaraki nodded, a tired smile bracing her features. It's over. The consortium is no more. As the realization of their victory sank in, the chamber around them began to shake. Without the Archon's power to sustain it, the massive ship was falling apart. Time to go home, Samantha said, summoning the last of her strength. She reached out, feeling for the teleportation energy that had brought them here. With Zaraki's help, she reopened the portal. As they stepped through, leaving the dissolving world render behind, Samantha felt a profound sense of change. The universe itself seemed lighter, as if a great shadow had been lifted. They had won, but as they hurtled back towards Earth, towards an uncertain future, Samantha knew that their journey, and humanity's journey among the stars, was only just beginning. A new cosmic dawn, the world Samantha and Zaraki returned to was forever changed. As they materialized in Haven's command center, exhausted but triumphant, they were met with a scene of jubilant chaos. Marcus rushed forward, enveloping Samantha in a bone-crushing hug, while Selthor's scales shimmered with colors of joy and relief. You did it, Marcus breathed, his voice thick with emotion. You actually did it. Samantha managed a weak smile. We did it, she corrected, glancing at Zaraki. All of us. As the initial euphoria of victory faded, the enormity of what had transpired began to sink in. Selthor slithered to a bank of monitors, its multifaceted eyes scanning rapidly. Reports are coming in from across the galaxy, the Arcturian ambassador announced. The consortium's influence is crumbling. Oppressed worlds are rising up, reclaiming their freedom. Zaraki's feather-like appendages rippled with a mix of relief and concern. And Earth, what of humanity? Marcus's expression turned grave. It's complicated. The invasion attempt and its defeat are impossible to hide. Governments worldwide are in chaos, trying to come to terms with the reality of alien life and the fact that we're not alone in the universe. Samantha's heart sank. In the heat of battle, she hadn't considered the wider implications of their actions. They're afraid, she realized, of what's out there and of us. As if to underscore her point, a priority alert flashed across the command center's main screen. It was a worldwide broadcast from the United Nations Security Council. The face of a stern-looking woman filled the display. Citizens of Earth, she began, her voice tightly controlled. As you are all now aware, our planet has faced an unprecedented threat from beyond our stars. While this threat has been neutralized, we find ourselves at a crossroads. The woman's gaze seemed to bore directly into the camera. To the beings responsible for our salvation, we extend our gratitude. However, we must also express our deep concern over the power you wield. We hereby request that you turn yourselves into a specially formed UN task force for debriefing and containment. The broadcast cut off, leaving a heavy silence in its wake. Well, Marcus said dryly, that's gratitude for you. Samantha felt a surge of anger and frustration. After everything they'd been through, everything they'd sacrificed, humanity's first reaction was fear and a desire for control. But as she opened her mouth to voice her outrage, she felt a gentle touch on her arm. Zaraki stood beside her, eyes filled with understanding and compassion. "They're scared, Samantha," the alien woman said softly. "Just as I was when I first came to your world. Fear is a natural response to the unknown, but it can be overcome with patience and understanding." Samantha took a deep breath, letting her anger dissipate. Zareki was right, of course, and wasn't this exactly the kind of situation the Forerunner's power was meant to address? "We need to show them," Samantha said slowly, an idea forming. "Not just tell them, but show them what's possible now. The wonders that await us among the stars." Selthor's scales rippled with interest. "What do you propose?" A smile spread across Samantha's face, growing wider as the plan took shape in her mind. Something bold, something that will capture the imagination of every person on Earth. Over the next few hours, Samantha outlined her vision. Using their combined powers, she and Zaraki would create a monument to unity and cosmic harmony, a structure beyond anything humanity had ever conceived. As dawn broke over a world still reeling from recent events, Samantha and Zaraki stood hand in hand atop the highest peak of the Himalayas. Below them, news crews and military units scrambled for position, alerted by a message Samantha had broadcast globally. "Are you ready?" Samantha asked, squeezing Zaraki's hand. The alien woman nodded, her luminous eyes shining with determination. "Together," she replied. As one, they raised their free hands to the sky. The air around them began to shimmer and pulse with cosmic energy. Slowly at first, then with gathering speed, motes of light coalesced above them, taking shape and form. Gasps of awe rippled through the crowds below as a massive structure began to materialize high in the atmosphere. It was a city, but unlike any that had ever existed on Earth. Crystalline spires reached towards the stars, while gardens of unearthly beauty flourished in open plazas. At its heart stood a towering beacon of pure energy, pulsing in harmony with the planet's own rhythms. As the floating marvel took final shape, Samantha's voice rang out, amplified by her powers to reach every corner of the globe. "People of Earth," she began, her words translated instantly into every language, "we stand at the dawn of a new era. The universe has opened up to us, full of wonders and possibilities beyond imagining. But it also holds dangers, as we have recently witnessed." She paused, letting her gaze sweep across the astonished faces below. "This city is a gift and a promise. A glimpse of what humanity can achieve if we embrace our place among the stars. It will serve as a neutral ground for Earth and alien species alike, a place of learning, diplomacy, and cosmic harmony." Zaraki stepped forward, her melodic voice joining Samantha's. "We extend an invitation to all of humanity. Come, learn, grow. Let us build a future together that honors both your unique heritage and your limitless potential." As their words faded, a stunned silence fell over the world. Then gradually, a sound began to build. It started as a murmur, grew to a rumble, and finally erupted into a global roar of celebration. In the days and weeks that followed, the floating city, christened Harmonia by popular vote, became a symbol of humanity's new cosmic destiny. People from all walks of life flocked to it, eager to learn about alien cultures and advanced technologies. Samantha, Zaraki, and their allies worked tirelessly, guiding Earth's first steps into a larger galactic community. There were challenges, of course. Old prejudices and fears didn't disappear overnight, but with each passing day, more and more people embraced the possibilities of their new reality. One evening, as Samantha stood on a balcony overlooking Harmonia's central plaza, she felt a familiar presence join her. "Quite a view," Marcus said, leaning on the railing beside her. "Hard to believe how much has changed in such a short time." Samantha nodded, a contented smile playing on her lips. "We've only just begun, Marcus. There's so much more to explore, so much more to learn." As if to underscore her point, a shimmering portal opened nearby, and Selthor slithered through. "Apologies for the interruption. the Arcturians said, but we've just received a transmission from a previously unknown sector of the galaxy. It seems word of Earth's emergence onto the cosmic stage has spread far and wide. They're requesting a diplomatic meeting. Excitement sparked in Samantha's eyes. Another adventure, another chance to expand humanity's horizons. She turned to Marcus, grinning. What do you say? Ready to make some new friends? Marcus laughed, shaking his head in amused disbelief. Lead the way, Stargirl, lead the way. As they moved to join Cell 4, Samantha felt a surge of joy and purpose. The path ahead was uncertain, filled with both wonders and challenges. But she knew that together, humans and aliens alike, they would face whatever the universe had in store. For in the end, that was humanity's greatest strength, the ability to adapt, to grow, to reach out and forge connections across the cosmic divide. And as long as that spirit endured, there was no limit to what it might achieve among the stars. The saga of Samantha Chen, once a simple xenobiologist and now a bridge between worlds, had only just begun. And with it, a new chapter in the grand cosmic story of life itself was being written, one of hope, unity, and endless possibilities. As Harmonia ascended into the starry night, carrying the dreams and aspirations of an entire planet, one thing became clear: humanity's true journey was only just beginning. The end and a new beginning.